I purchased my house in this small town in September 2024, which was 3 months before I even received my green card. So I bought a house in Ukraine before I had a green card in Ukraine. And we had air raid sirens, air raid alerts, a lot. But it was almost like the boy who cried wolf at the time. Because when I first heard the air raid siren, my first time, I was like, whoa, what's going on here? But then I noticed a lot of the locals, they wouldn't even flinch because from February 2022 till September 2024, as far as I know, there were no drone bombings or missiles in this town in that long 2 year, 2.5 or 2.5 year time. So I didn't panic after hearing air raid sirens every day, getting air raid alerts on my phone every day, multiple times a day, multiple times a night, until August 7th, 2025. At 1 in the morning, I heard the loudest explosion I've ever heard in my life. And I was asleep until that happened, and I was wide awake. I jumped up, and I thought we got bombed with a missile, and it sounded like in my backyard. And then I'm looking out the window, and 3 more hit. Boom, boom, boom. We got hit 4 times in 5 minutes with drone strikes. The Shahed Iranian made drones that Russia uses to terrorize them. Oh, okay. And that's when things got real. That was the first time I've heard a war explosion in my entire life. I've never been in the military. I'm sure people in the military, it wouldn't have been as big as a deal as it was to me. And due to the fact that it was a new thing to me, and it sounded like my backyard. It sounded like it was about 100 feet from me. And I didn't find out until the morning. It was 1.5 miles west of me, northwest of me. It actually hit there's a radio antenna, big, large radio antenna right next to the post office and right next to the supermarket I was shopping at 6 or 7 days a week. And they were trying to hit the radio tower and knock it out completely. I'm guessing. I didn't ask Putin what he was trying to do. Luckily, no one died and no one was hurt, but they blew up the post office completely. It was a total loss. There was a pawn shop there. It was a total loss. And then there was a little store that sells children games and toys, and apparently everything burned to the ground. So the fire department was up at 1 in the morning putting out the fire, and there was a hole in the roof for like 6 months before they even were able to fix it. And they had to move the post office. That was the Ukraine post office. There's 2 different kind of post offices in Ukraine. There's the Nova Posta, which is like only in Ukraine, and then they have the Ukraine Post, which is worldwide, international. But they blew up the Ukraine post office, and there's a police department close to it, and the windows were shattered at the police department. And there's the town museum is across the street, and all the windows are blown out of there. And there's like a little dance hall for the youth just east of the post office, and all the windows were shattered, and the roof was blown off of that. I mean, there was so much damage that it was a miracle no one got hurt. And then there's a huge, like 5 or 6 story apartment complex behind the supermarket, and I guess some windows were blown out of that, but no one died. It's a miracle. And the family that sold me my house, they live 3 doors west of the supermarket, or 4. I can't remember exactly, but I talked to the son, who's 18, and he was a foreign exchange student in America, in New York, and so he speaks perfect English. But I met with him. He invited me over to eat one time, and I said, "Were you home when on August 7th when those drones hit?" And he goes, "Yes, I was." And I said, "What happened?" He said, all the pictures on their walls were knocked off the wall in their house, and it didn't even hit their house. That's just how the almost like the shock from the explosions hit. I mean, it affected his house, and he said that he was wide awake, and he ended up going out in the street and walking around with his buddies that are his age, and they were just walking down the street at 1:30 in the morning after it happened, and kind of like I was like, wow, that sounds super dangerous, but I guess the dust had settled, and they were just looking at the damage, and it's a miracle that the supermarket that I shop at wasn't blown up, because it was the ATB, the ATB supermarket, the biggest supermarket in town, and I've seen where the Russians have blown up supermarkets of that same chain in different cities all over the country, even after that and even before that. So it's not impossible that they could have blown up the supermarket that I shop at 7 days a week, whatever, let's say 6 days a week. And so things escalated. After that, it seems like every week or so there were more drones buzzing, like at nighttime, just buzzing low, and then you'd hear a couple explosions, and then the next night maybe one or maybe two, and then it just seemed like things escalated and escalated, and things were getting real. I mean, it was like get your grab bag, or Doomsday Preppers have a, oh crap, there's police here confronting there's police confronting the ice fishers. Maybe they're writing up a ticket. They're like videotaping them and yell at them, and they're in the uniform, so it's interesting. Maybe they're going to ask for my documents, and I'll say, did you pull me over because you want to trade challenge coins? Anyway, so I guess that's a good time to end the video so I don't get arrested for making a video. And let's see if you can hear that there's a female cop and a male cop. The female cop's doing all the yelling. Anyway, I'm going to go now.